From the Gangelhoff Center at Concordia University in St. Paul, we present a section championship edition of high school girls basketball. Tonight, the first ticket will be punched in Class 4A as we've got a pair of schools who are highly familiar with each other, separated by only 1.5 miles. The Eastview Lightning, the #1 team in Class 4A, take on the Apple Valley Eagles, a program looking to continue their upset bid. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Peden alongside LaToya Turk. LaToya, that time of the year has finally arrived, championship time. The winner moves on to state. This section has been dominated by Eastview over the last 6 years. Apple Valley hasn't reached a section final since 2004. All the indications suggest Eastview should win this game, but Apple Valley's put on a strong run to close the year.
Absolutely, and you know, this past week we've seen some major upsets, and so it can happen. This is the time of year that an upset can happen. On paper, Eastview should win this game, but you have Apple Valley who's been chipping away, and if we look at their schedule, they've only lost games by a few points to some really tough teams. So they're hungry, so we'll see what they bring for this Eastview team tonight.
And in the last meeting between these two teams, Eastview won, but only by 5, 50-45, and as we know, when it's that third meeting of the year, it's tough to beat a team 3 times. I don't know what the percentage is, but it comes down to execution. These two teams know each other up and down, so it's going to be whoever shows up first.
And the fact that they've met each other twice already, that's a great opportunity for both teams to get some good scouting in. So this is going to be a tough game for both teams tonight.
Right, both are highly familiar with each other, so there are no secrets to be uncovered. Apple Valley led by Brynne Rolland. She's a 1,000-point scorer. She can put up some points if she needs to. She had a 30-burger in the win over Prior Lake, a school that's led by McKenna Hofschild. And this Apple Valley team under Brian Doty, first-year head coach, working on the trust factor was the biggest obstacle, but I think it's safe to say with the win over Park of Cottage Grove on Saturday, this team trusts each other now.
And that's a big factor, having a new coach come in. I've been in that position before where you have a team and they have to get used to and trust you and believe in you. And like you said, I think they've caught the bug. I think they believe in their coach now.
But Eastview is the perennial favorite here. Like Hopkins, they don't rebuild, they reload. They're led by the likes of Megan Walstad, Macy, Guebert, and it seems like every year there's another Eastview prospect that comes out and does big things, so this is just another addition. How does Eastview ensure they can get the series sweep over Apple Valley?
They play the game that Eastview is known to play. They don't come out of their system. They know what works for them. They beat this team twice already, so they stay within their boundaries and they play their game. And you leave everything on the court. This is the section finals.
We'll find out who's moving on to the state tournament in about a couple of hours. We'll have the starting lineups in a moment. This is high school girls basketball, the Section 3 4A championship.
starting lineups for your Eastview High School Lightning. Second guard, a junior number 4, Emma Carpenter. Second guard, a junior number 21, Macy Guebert. Second guard, a senior number 23, Brynne. Second forward, a senior number 31, Andrea Abrams. And standing up forward, a senior number 45, Megan Walstad. The head coach, Howard Gates, represented by Quincy Davis, Carlos G, Ellen Spiga, and Brynne Rolland.
So the spotlight is on a pair of schools from Apple Valley. They're separated by 1.5 miles, and on the scouting report, I've been told this match will be physical. And in terms of Eastview and their balance, as we said, they reload every year. It's hard to point out which player could be the go-to factor in this one. In the 2 regular season meetings, Eastview won the first one 64-38. Emma Carpenter had 15 points, 5 assists. In the second meeting, it was Megan Walstad who put up a double-double, 16 points, 12 rebounds in the 50-45 win at Apple Valley.
That's always a plus from a coaching standpoint to have multiple players who can show up for you on any given night.
And Eastview, as we mentioned, 6 straight appearances in the state tournament, 1 championship back in 2014. If paper was a thing, we would put Hopkins and Eastview through to the finals, but as we saw on Saturday, you got to get through this round first.
Absolutely.
And this is no guarantee. Apple Valley wearing the white, Eastview wearing the black. The winner goes on to Target Center for the Class 4A state tournament. And we're going back to the original format this year. As you know, the last few years they had to split between Target Center and Mariucci Arena, but with the NCHC agreement now over, we're going back to Target Center in Williams. So the 4A and 3A quarters will be taking place on the same day. And I don't know about you, but the rims look a little bent out of shape.
They do look a little bent now that you're mentioning that.
I wonder how that's going to impact the game. You usually don't see that in a game like this. But both schools are used to Concordia already. Both played here on Saturday. Eastview knocked out Hastings in convincing fashion, as they usually do. Apple Valley beat Park of Cottage Grove 35-33. Brynne Rolland keeps it in bounds. You may know Apple Valley as a powerhouse in boys basketball, winning 3 state tournament titles over the last 5 years with the Jones brothers, Trey and Tyus. The girls have been a little slower to get going, but I understand the Jones family has a sister that will eventually make her way through the ranks.
Oh, that's nice. I was just telling a coworker of mine how I enjoy coaching girls who have older brothers that play because they're a little tougher.
A little. And for Concordia St. Paul, they're getting a head start in terms of the state tournament. As you know, they host the consolation and third place games in girls and boys basketball. And the reason why we're hosting this on a Wednesday night, as we still wait for our first score, we're going to have a jump ball. And it's Apple Valley with the arrow. There is a fishing expo going on this weekend. And that's why we're having the section final on a Wednesday instead of the traditional Thursday-Friday window. Which I'm okay with because there's only one section final tonight, which means all eyes are on this game. Bear for 3. That's short. Megan Walstad picks up the board. Walstad is a double-double threat.
And I haven't seen either of these teams play this year, but from a defensive standpoint, I've already seen Eastview go into two different defenses already, and that's pretty amazing and a compliment for a high school level team.
Eastview, one of the perennials, led by Molly Casper. She took over for Melissa Guebert, who is here tonight because her daughter Macy is playing for Eastview, but Melissa left after her 2 older kids, Madison and Drew, as Walstad can't hit the baseline, Jay. Both went off to college. As you know, Maddie went to South Dakota State, all-time leading scorer in Eastview history. "15-footer, that doesn't fall for Anna Much, and a slow start to this one. 2.5 minutes have gone by, still no score. Carpenter looking to change that. Not quite. Do you think nerves are coming into play here?
A little bit. It's a pack house. Both of the bands are here. Student section is standing up on both sides.
And these teams are familiar with each other, being South Suburban Conference rivals. So we have an offensive foul on the Eagles. That might add to the nerves because these two teams know each other.
Oh, yeah.
There are no surprises to be had here. Brian Doty. That foul goes against Michael Parham. Brian Doty took over the job because he felt those types of opportunities only come so often after being an assistant at White Bear Lake and Stillwater before moving to Apple Valley. Here's Andrea Abrams over to Carpenter. Still waiting for our first bucket. And it won't come there. Alapate comes up short. The lob to Parham is no good. Eastview with the steal. That's Alapate. Have you come across a game where it took this long to get our first point?
Well, you know, over in the SEC, sometimes we can win games with 35 points, so.
As your buddy Grant told you, welcome to the SEC when your daughter transferred to Roseville.
And we're not talking about Don Staley in
South Carolina. That rim is sealed shut.
It is, but Parham's doing an excellent job of playing defense on her. I've watched her the last few transitions. She's making it very difficult for her to get the ball and to make her moves to the basket.
Rolland, kick out, 3 on the way. That's short from number 5. Rebound will go to Alapate. Number 5 for the Eagles, Molly Moynihan. 3-sport athlete. Now, if you're Stillwater in the SEC, you don't buy into that theory of 35-point games. They were one of the highest scoring teams this year in Class 4A. Deflected off of Eastview. We'll get our first subs. Nearly 5 minutes have elapsed, and nobody has scored.
In for Eastview, number 25, Cassidy Carson.
Highly unusual, even for a section final, to go this long without scoring.
That either means there's some really good defense going on or some subpar offense. But they're getting shots up, and they're just falling a little short.
Talina Myers out to Rolland. That finally gets us on the board. Brynne Rolland. A 1,000-point score will continue her college career at St. Thomas. Under the direction of Ruth Sin, and we know what she's done at that program for all those years.
And it looks like that bucket is what she needed.
Jump ball, Eastview with the arrow, but you're right. Myers bringing the pressure for the Eagles.
In the game for Eastview, number 22, Lauren Glass.
And I have to imagine Apple Valley, they probably got word of all those upsets on Saturday. South beating Wayzata, Park Center beating Centennial,
and Roseville beating Champlain Park.
Minor upset, I guess. No disrespect to Roseville, but a 3-2, and as I've said for years, Section 5, those top 4 teams, any of them have a chance to get through year in and year out. But Apple Valley's probably reading some of those scores, and I'm sure the team's telling themselves, why not us?
Right, we can do it too.
Why can't we join the team? They did beat a 2 seed in Park to get their way here. 35-33 affair. And that win, as missing the floater, was number 20.
I think that's
China Young.
China Young, a freshman coming off the bench.
Walstad underneath. Parham stays up, no foul called. Eastview hangs on to it. Walstad wide open, swish. Megan Walstad, one of a long line of Eastview greats.
And there they go back to that zone trap.
Pays off. Eastview looking to run. Oh, not quite there. Cassidy Carson has to back off.
Cassidy has a height advantage over the guard who's playing defense on her from Apple Valley. And at first I thought she was going to back off a little bit, but that possession, she looked like she was going to take it to her.
Wrong again, LaToya.
You know, the last possession down the floor, she got in a little trouble there. Got a jump ball tie up, but great players, they keep going after it.
Parham just got it off, stays in bounds. 3 on the way, and no Plinko bounce for Megan Bear. I know you've seen your share of section games, LaToya, but I don't think, have you ever come across a game like this where we're 2-2, 7.5 minutes in?
And they're just not scoring.
Emma Carpenter changing that with the corner 3. And with the way this game is going, if one of these teams even gets on a little run, that could be a big difference. Myers, that looks off, and it is. Follows her own miss
shot.
and gets the putback.
Hey, kids, we don't mind you shooting.
Nobody was in the lane.
We don't mind you shooting if you follow your own shots.
Well, and Kalita was the only one who followed it. Nobody from Eastview saw it coming. Guebert out to Walstad. Carpenter. Kick out, that's for 2, and just a bit outside, in the words of Harry Doyle. That's a reference to Major League. Different sport, I know, but
yes,
you get the idea.
I do.
Eastview times the pass, and that results in the steal for Emma Carpenter. And then she's pickpocketed by Myers. Kalina, goodbye.
She does that so well. She picks that pocket so well.
Myers has been bringing the hustle here off the bench. And it's a 6-5 lead for the Eagles. You don't see that too often, players coming off the bench and giving you a spark like that. But this is 4A.
I saw one last week.
From Roseville or?
No, from Champlin Park. I think her name is Maya DuBois. That was her job.
Molly Moynihan going back in. Eastview with the arrow. 8:53 left. 6-5 our score. And a pretty solid crowd on hand, but again, this is, and I guess an intercity rivalry in the sense that these are 2 Apple Valley schools. And Mariah Alapade with the second chance bucket. What does that add to a section championship like this when you've got 2 conference rivals, both in the same city?
It's great for the fans. It's great for the students.
And that's not great if you're Apple Valley, an unforced turnover.
Right. It's like the whole community is here.
Yeah, much like your Minneapolis City Conference days when you were at Washburn.
Right.
I don't know if De La Salle was in the Tri-Metro back then. I'm not sure if they have that built-in rivalry, but Alapate trying to get things going for the Lightning, can't do so. But as you noted in prior broadcasts this year, Washburn, you had the big rivals with a lot of conference. And in your time, I think you played against the likes of Tracy Henderson.
Right.
Kim Bell was your backup. Carpenter, 1 on 3. She'll kick out, 3 on the way. Guebert can't hit it. And Rolland tried the volleyball, and that will mean Eastview hangs on to it.
Yeah, those were great rivalries back then. Shonda Holden from North Minneapolis, Shezron Riley from Southwest. We had a great time, mid-90s.
I was about 8 years old.
You would have hung out with my little brother.
Parham with the board.
Ooh.
And once again, Apple Valley struggling here. They almost coughed it up again. I was going to say before that, Parham looked at as one of the more unheralded figures on Apple Valley's team, but it just looks like they're not as composed as Eastview is on set plays. 3 on the way. No good. Timeout, Apple Valley. 7:06 left.
Yeah, sometimes that can be hard on you, running up and down the court, not producing anything. But you know, they have been getting Apple Valley. They have been getting some steals, and they've made some points off of those steals. So, but especially the dominant player like Parham, she's getting down the court. She's not getting the touches that she would like to get. That can be frustrating. So I think this is a good timeout for them. Besides the fact that they were in that situation where it looked like there was no way out.
Apple Valley started the year 1-5. And Brian Doty said after that point, that's when the trust factor started to set in. And in 10 of the last 12 games, they've held opponents to 50 points or fewer. One of those games is against Prior Lake, but when you have McKenna Hoffschild as a defender or someone you have to guard against, that's never easy. Apple Valley still won that game. And Brynne Rolland, 14 in the win over Henry Sibley. Jump ball, Eagles with the arrow. Everyone thought it was Eastview's ball, and Mike Carnes has to tell everyone, come back. Everybody thought it was Eastview who had the possession. Okay, and now we're having a discussion. So it is Eastview ball. So we were a little slow on the arrow.
Someone's paying attention.
In the game for Eastview, number 25, Megan Walstad.
The Eastview student section there in front of us, some of them have donned a superhero theme with the DC characters. I would have liked to see some Marvel folks in there. For the record, I don't see any Black Panther costumes yet.
No, we don't see those yet.
They'll wait until Halloween.
Yes.
High-low, Alapate with the finish.
Eastview does a great job of reading the defense and slipping in between the gaps. I've seen them do that cut several times. This time they were able to capitalize off of it. Nice sneak through.
Kalina Myers, 6 off the bench, squeezes her way through. That's what you call a squeeze play in basketball.
She's reading the defense too, finding those open spots.
Myers keeping the Eagles in it, and a traveling violation on Walstad. If you're curious, Kalina Myers scored 9 points in the last meeting between these two on February 2nd, and 3 in the first meeting. So Myers getting more comfortable, more familiar with this Eastview team. Or going against them, I should say, and it's showing here in the first half. Who knows where the Eagles would be without her.
Apple Valley's got to be careful with those rainbow passes.
And Rolland has yet to be a factor in this one.
And Eastview's making it very difficult to penetrate into the lane.
Rolland missed the 3, and that zone defense by Eastview sets up an easy rebound, and that's going to be a foul as Carpenter was hit from behind. That's just the second foul of this game. I guess one thing, the way this pace is going, foul trouble is not going to be an issue,
Right.
as we've seen with other teams. The foul's on Moynihan, her first. Well, compared to teams like Tartan or Maranatha, where they get after it and they can rack up fouls in a hurry. The way this is going, we may not even get to the bonus. Rolland with the board. There's Moynihan, Heisman Trophy winner in the state of Minnesota as a three-sport athlete, cross country, lacrosse, and basketball. She'll be going to Concordia St. Paul for lacrosse.
Oh, that's phenomenal. Congratulations.
Bounce pass. Apple Valley seals it off. And that shot doesn't fall. The rebound goes to Megan Bear. Good job by the Eagles responding as they did. Parham used up the dribble, needs help. And once again,
And so
looks like a box and one for the Lightning, if I'm correct.
oh no, they're playing man.
They're playing, yep, they are playing man.
They're playing man.
Really good at it. They're all over their defenders. Apple Valley can't find an opening.
And I think if Apple Valley just move the ball more, make the shift the defense, and there they go. Can't stand around. They got to keep moving. Their timing's just a little off there.
You wonder, well, Myers, if she'll get back in there, and no foul call despite the contact. It looks like Myers is going to go back in at the next whistle. 3 on the way. That's off the mark. Parham with the rebound.
Yeah, right move there. Good job. Good job.
That's Megan Bear who slices her way in.
If your defenders are shuffling their feet back and you see the opening at this point, you got to take it.
If you joined us, this is not a football game. We can assure you of that. It feels like it. Shots have had a hard time going in. Parham deflects the pass, tries to leak out. She finds Anna Much. Can she get there? She'll shoot 2. The foul will go against Carpenter, I believe, and that will be the first on the Lightning.
And Parham's doing an excellent job of getting those long arms into the passing lane. This is probably about her 3rd time of getting her hands on the ball inside in the passing lane.
Anna Much has not scored much in the series with Eastview. 4 points in the first meeting, 1 point in the second meeting. In case you're wondering, that's 2.5 a game.
Thanks, my math whiz.
Math whiz, sports brain, the guy who knows everything according to LaToya. Anna Much knocks it down. In case you're wondering, the largest lead for either side has been 3, but it's hard to build it up when the score is 11-9.
Right.
And Myers, the spark plug for the Eagles so far, is back in. And that was Myers getting a hand in there.
Great rotation. She saw her friend sneak over and try to help on that trap there, and she was right there to take away the pass to underneath the basket.
And she denies the high-low. I was wondering when Myers would get back in there. She's been the driving force for the Eagles thus far. Parham out to number 20, China Young. Rolland, double team, finds Parham for 3. Short, and the rebound to Walstad. Just over 2 minutes to play.
Apple Valley would have a better chance getting their offense to flow if they could spread the floor a little bit, stretch the Eastview defense. They're standing close together.
It's 11-9, but Marshall Wasika, this is not. No one's playing stall ball here.
No, they're all trying to get the ball in the basket.
Well, you and I haven't called a game together since that happened. We've talked about it a little bit, but I've said if Marshall had only played the way South and Park Center did on Saturday, who knows? That's going to be a foul on the Eagles. And you know, if you look at the way Apple Valley's playing right now, I mean, yeah, they haven't, well, both teams have struggled, but the Eagles aren't playing like the 3 seed or the underdog. That's just the first personal on Megan Bear, I should say.
Are we really down to 1:26 left in this half? And we are at 9-11?
We are. Macy Guebert looking to tie it up from the line. The younger sister of Maddie Guebert, Eastview's all-time leading scorer, 2015 ball, and Drew Guebert. Both are playing college in South Dakota.
That's a good workout partner. Now we got a tie game.
11-11. Or aces if you play blackjack. In case you don't know, an ace is worth 11. Myers drives, and Apple Valley can't save it. She lost her footing, and that cost her there.
She was so close.
So close yet so far, as the saying goes. Just over a minute.
Put the defenders on alert. I am coming.
Walstad.
Good help side there.
Rolland denies her. It will stay with the Lightning. And I'll say this, Apple Valley doing a tremendous job containing Walstad. They're doubling her up every time she gets the ball, putting 2 bodies, arms up. They are not going to give her any openings down low. Runner way off the mark. And that's what good defense does. And when you're the underdog, well, when you're the underdog, you can't throw it away like that. 3 on the way. Oh, close, but no cigar.
We still got enough time for a last shot here.
Eastview playing a little token pressure. Myers has it, looking for a target. Finds Parham, pulls up. I don't know if that's what they wanted. Eastview has a chance, 7 seconds. And Abrams left alone, 3, bullseye! Macy Guebert hits a 3. Eastview takes a 14-11 lead. Remember that basket if Eastview hangs on to win this game. As we know, buzzer beaters can give you a lot of momentum, and overall, I'd give the edge to Eastview in terms of discipline. Apple Valley's played well, but they look a little out of sorts on half-court sets.
Right. Apple Valley's had a lot of hustle plays. They've gotten some points off of defensive hustle plays. But, you know, as a coach, I tell my team all the time, defense wins games. So
there's been plenty of that so far.
Absolutely. But you're right. Eastview does look a lot more polished. And under control, and it looks like they've calmed down. So they're running their defensive sets, they're running their offensive sets. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments they make during halftime and what they look like when they come out.
We'll come back to crown a champion in Section 3-4A. This is high school girls basketball, the 3-4A Section Championship. Eastview leads Apple Valley 14-11. So LaToya, since this could be our final game, I wonder if your daughter's ready to offer some analysis, if she's ready for the mic. I want to see what she thought of the first half, or I want the viewers to know what she thought of the first half.
Demaya, do you have anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Still, okay, not quite ready yet for the mic issue.
We'll get her there.
I thought you worked on etiquette training with these players.
Oh, I can interview her.
Apparently, your lessons haven't gotten to your daughters yet. You don't want to say the wrong word.
I do that all the time.
Well, Demaya can't hear me because the band's going, but do you know how many wrong words I've said in my career? Do you think that stopped me?
And I do it all the time.
Apple Valley trailing Eastview 14-11. Mike Peden and LaToya Turk with you. Kalina Myers, a spark plug off the bench for the Eagles. I'm wondering if we'll see more of her in the second half. She has 6 points. And for Eastview, that 3 by Macy Guebert could be huge with Megan Walstad struggling down low.
Right.
Whoever can get on a run in the second half, that might be enough to win.
Right. Myers is doing an excellent job off the bench. She most definitely will see more time as long as she stays out of foul trouble this second half. She's almost
Foul
like
trouble, I don't think will be an issue.
Right. I think she seems to be like the catalyst for them. And then Walstad, Parham is just playing her really tight. And like you said, they're doubling her every time she touches the ball. So that's taking her out of her normal routine here.
And the reason why I laugh about foul trouble, only 4 fouls were called in the first half. So nobody in any trouble at all.
Right.
This is not like a Tartan or Maranatha or another game where you have to manage the foul situation, or even Andrea Adams. I think she had 4 fouls in that section final and had to play with 4 for the last 7-8 minutes, which she did. But the way this is going, I think everyone will be available come crunch time.
Right.
We are 18 minutes away from crowning a champion, the first in this year's girls basketball state tournament, and Rolland hits the turnaround. That could be critical for Apple Valley, getting Rolland going.
And I'd like to see Rolland getting going. She was a little quiet the first half.
Walstad says right back at ya.
That was pure determination there. Her arm was held, still got it up.
This is the first section final of any class tonight. We'll have a bunch on Thursday and Friday. I'll be in Hastings for Cretan Woodbury. LaToya will be in Anoka for Roseville Champlain Park. And those are just 2 of the many section champions who will hoist the trophy and make a date with state next week.
Yes.
And then in Class A and AA, those finals will be on Friday. Eastview had trouble hanging on to it. In Class 3A, I think the field will be selected tomorrow. Robbinsdale Cooper, if they get through, should be the number 1 seed. Matamidi, Holy Angels. Well, Matamidi is a favorite over De La Salle, but don't count out the Islanders. Holy Angels with Destiny Oberg. She'll bring it. Rolland left that one short, and the rebound goes to Walstad. Eastview in transition. Apple Valley denies it. Did you ever get to play in a section final at Washburn, or get a taste of this atmosphere?
I don't think we played in a section final. No.
Well, you were there. That was part of the problem. I'm kidding. You should see me play basketball. Actually, no, you shouldn't. But did you ever get a taste of something like this in the playoffs?
Well, when I went to college and
at Kent State?
Yeah.
With the NCAA tournament or the conference tournament?
Right, the NCAA tournament.
You got to make an NCAA tournament.
We did.
So who needs a state tournament? You made the big dance.
And we won our conference when I played in high school. So that was big.
You got to
for
play
us
the Twin
then.
Cities game as a result. I remember that. I remember you telling me that. I don't remember you winning it. I was a little young. Rolland fires the 3. Eastview doing a good job keeping her on the outside. Again, the Lightning, they looked a little more poised here. If they can go on a run, that could be the dagger.
Right.
Macy Guebert drives and scores. She's up to 7. And the Lightning extend their lead to 5, their largest. And in a game like this, that could be all you need. Three on the way. No good, but Apple Valley hustles for the O-board. That goes to Anna Much. Eagles not giving up on the 3. Megan Bears scores. Brian Doty calls a timeout. Apple Valley with 3 left, but that's a big 3-pointer.
Absolutely.
The first triple to go down for the Eagles, and that snuffs out a potential Eastview run for now.
It does. It does. I remember this cheer.
And in the case of Apple Valley, one senior you're not going to see much of if they get to state, Josie Rogers. Brian Doty had this to say about her. She may not go on to play basketball, but she has already been accepted to the University of Wisconsin, where she'll major in chemical engineering.
Wow, that's impressive.
So she and I will probably be rooting against each other next year because I'm a Gophers alum, but as you know, if it's Wisconsin or Iowa, I don't care where you're going, it's always a big deal when you get that college acceptance, you make that choice.
Yes.
It's one of the most exciting moments of your life, whether you go on to play collegiately or not.
Right.
And to borrow a cliche, some of my best friends went to Wisconsin.
Okay.
Well, some of my friends did go there.
Some of my best friends went to Wisconsin, too. Tomorrow
Who
morning.
was your rival at Kent State? Who was your big rival?
Gosh.
Because Wisconsin, I suppose you don't really have that
No.
rivalry, but
No. We played a lot of the schools in the SIAC.
foul on Parham. Walstad will shoot two.
Second personal. First team out of the second half. Number 45, Megan Walstad, blue line shooting two.
Megan Walstad makes the front end. Scored just 2 points in the win over Hastings, but not like she was needed. It was a 61-39 win. But as we noted earlier, a double-double threat when she needs to step up. Eastview a perfect 4-4 from the line, but we have a long way to go.
And this trap zone gives Apple Valley a lot of trouble.
And
Abrams plays that middle very well.
And Eastview almost got the steal there and said it's a foul on Cassidy Carson. I'm wondering when we'll see Kalina Myers go back in.
I hope soon.
She seems to be the one player who has responded to Eastview's formation. So Apple, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you see the youth on some of the players here. Apple Valley's inbounding the ball. The count gets to a 3 or a 4, and there are 2 players standing on the backside just standing. At that time, you got to move and get open.
And part of that is experience. Remember, Apple Valley hasn't gotten this far in 14 years.
Right.
They were upset by Rosemount last year in the 3-4A semifinals. And Eastview throws that away.
And your wish has been granted.
What?
Your wish has been granted.
Oh, Kalina Myers. I was noting or observing that Eastview going with the superhero theme, Apple Valley with the USA scheme, a common theme in playoff time for the student section.
Well,
Traveling violation on Megan Bear, 14:03 left.
so going back to your rival question, I remember having a tough rivalry with a school that wasn't too far from us, Eastern Kentucky.
Walstad out to Carson. The kick out. Abrams, 3-ball, corner pocket. Lightning lead by 7.
And she looked very comfortable with that shot, with that range.
Again, Eastview, the more experienced team. Apple Valley throws it away. And I suspected that if Eastview wins this game, that's going to be the difference. You have a team, they know how to get through. They've been here before. They're not going to have any nerves, any apprehension. You've got a team who hasn't been here in 14 years.
Right.
And as Brian Doty noted, not a lot of experience. The only experienced figure on that Apple Valley team is Rolland. 3 on the way. Oh, board for Walstad, you bet. And this could be the run that Eastview needs to pull away.
There's still a lot of time left on the clock. And
There is, but looking at the flow of this game,
right.
if Apple Valley can't respond to this run, Eastview can coast their way to state again. Young missing the 3-pointer, Walstad with the rebound.
And Myers was right there again to deter that pass. Think twice about that.
Walstad already has 6 points in this half. Just 2 in the first. The 1 and the 3. Eastview in trouble. They lose the ball. China Young with the strip.
Numbers. Don't force it. Get into your set.
Myers out to Megan Bear, and she's pickpocketed by Macy Guebert. Now, in the case of Eastview, you could say luck has been on their side as well. The last couple of years, they haven't had to face the team that was considered most likely to take them on. Last year it was Apple Valley, and they lost in the semifinals. This year it was Park. Apple Valley took care of them. And that's not to discount anything Eastview has done. Walstad posts up on Rolland and scores. But Eastview has had fortune on their side, and when you want to make a deep run, you need some talent, but it doesn't hurt to have a little luck too.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, look at South Carolina. They didn't have to play UConn last year, and no one's discounting their championship, but it helped their cause when Mississippi State knocked them out.
Right.
That's what I mean. You need luck, you need talent, and Eastview looks like they withstood that first half charge from Apple Valley, and they're in position to run away here.
And even closer to home. Look at the situation that we have with Hopkins and South. You know?
Hopkins, I think, lucked out there.
Yeah.
Although they think they did respond well in that second meeting with Wyzetta. We'll never know, but Hopkins will probably send South the thank you card if they win tomorrow.
And I'm hoping that's the same thing, that, you know, Roseville Raiders, we don't have to meet up with Centennial. And
well, Roseville did beat them the last time out. That's
we
what
did.
I mean. Section
we
5,
did.
There really isn't a favorite, an underdog in that same token, same vein. But this is a young team. In the case of Apple Valley, not a ton of experience. They'll get plenty of it, and as we've seen, Tartan was another example. When you get one step further than you did before, that can go a long way, but unless Apple Valley can really clamp down and clean up their efficiency, I think Eastview is on the game-clinching run here.
Right.
But you're right. You did point out we still have time, 11:20 to go.
And they're really trying to penetrate that zone and get in there. What's going to take is swinging the defense, move the ball, and keep moving. They're standing. There's a lot of standing around.
By the way, Eastview's on pace to blow away their first half scoring output. Although when you only put up 14, that isn't saying much. The lob to Rolland. Eastview stayed with her. Walstad, the shovel pass, Euro step. Carson missed everything. Young with the rebound. Young doesn't see a lane, goes out to Myers. Young tries again, can't get the bounce.
Oh, they're fine. They're getting their shots off.
Eastview in complete control here. 3. That could have been a dagger if Alapate put that down.
And she had been calling for it from the time they brought the ball across the half court, so she wanted it. I'm looking for her to attack the ball offensively on the next set down.
Apple Valley just does not look comfortable at all with Eastview's defense. As you noted, the way Eastview employs their trap, their ability to switch formations, giving Apple Valley fits.
And even with the lead, Eastview is still playing solid defense. Rotating
Rolland.
over on help, boxing out, going after every rebound.
Keeping Rolland away from the inside, and again, maybe this isn't a surprise. When you look at this matchup, you maybe expected Eastview to run away here, but you got to give credit to the Lightning. They did not look ahead, and even in some of these runaway games, that doesn't mean there aren't speed bumps, if you will.
Right.
I don't think anyone expected a 14-11 first half score. That's a foul on Parham. That will be her third. And while a lot of folks will tell you it's hard to beat a team 3 times, I think the percentage doesn't correlate with that statement. But this is where Eastview, their poise, their experience, they're used to being at the state tournaments. It's an annual ritual. That's tough to go against.
They know what it takes to get here, get to the state tournament.
Now, I don't know who's in charge of assignments when it comes to hosting sectional games, but what folks have told me, Hamlin was the prior host for all those years in 3-4A. I wouldn't mind if Concordia hosts again down the road.
It's a nice facility
Oh, the
here.
Gangelhoff Center is a great place, and I've been here a few times, as we noted. They host the consolation and third place games for the girls and boys state tournaments here. Late foul, that will send Megan Guebert to the line. Bear went from a role player to an integral figure on this team.
They need these 2 points.
Apple Valley hasn't scored in some time. And this facility has history with Concordia St. Paul, of course. If we go back a few years, the Jaguars WBCBL, the women's blue chip basketball team, played their games here for a year. And this facility hosted a Lynx game.
Oh, wow.
I think a couple of them, actually. Up until the Lynx started winning, I believe Concordia was often the site that would host the preseason games for the Minnesota Lynx. As you know, each team gets a home and away game.
Concordia has always been receptive to allowing the community to come into their facility and use their facility.
And it helps that they have a contact who works in the WNBA among their athletic staff here at Concordia, and I'm referring to Tom Maurer.
Okay.
He's been an official for the WNBA for years. He didn't recognize me, which is fine because he's not looking for faces in the crowd, but he jokingly told me that I'm one of the folks that yell at him in the summer, and I said, no, I'm a media member. So I yell at Macy Guebert, who makes 3-pointers. I won't yell at the officials, but I'll yell in jubilation when I see someone like Guebert knock down a 3. And that just might do it, the way this game is going.
I agree, Mike.
Timeout Eastview to get Emma Carpenter out of a jam, but I don't think they have much to worry about here.
Right.
30-18.
That was just enough a lead for them to give themselves a cushion.
And just when you look at the second half, they look in total control.
Yep.
Apple Valley still looks nervous. And so what appears to be another coronation for the Lightning, unless Apple Valley goes on a run here. If things go as expected, the Lightning should be the 1 seed this year in the 4A state tournament. They are the only undefeated team in Class 4A. And that includes the win over Hopkins. The 2 meet annually at the St. Olaf Holiday Invitational.
That's a major accomplishment from the coaches to the players to the entire program to remain undefeated in Minnesota. there's some really good players and some really good teams out there.
And all of the top-tier contenders that Eastview has faced, St. Michael Albertville, a perennial in 4A. They swept the South Suburban as they have done for a long time, including wins over Lakeville North. Although those games were close, Lakeville North, another perennial in Section 1. But the way things are shaping up, well, Section 5, that could be a toss-up when you got the 3 and the 4. Lakeville North should get through. I don't think they would have enough of a resume to get above Hopkins and Eastview. So
right.
Eastview Hopkins are going to be your 1-2. Everyone else is going to be the underdog. That's not to say there aren't some good teams. You're going to see a pair. I'm going to see a pair.
Yes.
But Cretin-Durham Hall, Roseville, Park Center, whoever gets through there, they're going to have a tall task as Myers misses the corner 3.
I think we're going to have some great conversations tomorrow after 9 p.m.
Section 7's another one. Historically not the strongest, but you got Anoka and Forest Lake. Forest Lake, we'll see if that band of 3-point sharpshooters can make their way through. Section 8, you've got STMA Maple Grove looking to finally make their way through.
Right.
Section 2, that could be another one where the winner would be a heavy underdog. You've got Minnetonka and Prior Lake. And Section 2 this year, not what they used to be. Some of that is ebb and flow. And with the weight of sections, that's why you get some folks advocating a 1 through 64 seed in the bigger classes. I don't know if we'll ever get to that point.
Right.
But when you look at the weight of each section, I can understand why people still bring it up. Carl Pearson is one who's done that for years. He's a member of the Coaches Association. We've got a foul on Myers. And again, Eastview up by 12, which isn't a whole lot, but the way things are shaping up, I'm not sure Eagles have enough left. But maybe if you had that, you would get some pretty tantalizing matchups, because the section finals, if you look at it, is akin to your Sweet 16 round.
You're right. With 6 minutes left on the clock and the lead that Eastview has, it's still doable for Apple Valley, but they're just going to have to look a lot sharper and attack the basket, get the ball to go in, and do a lot of things a little differently, quickly.
And I just haven't seen enough of it. Megan Bear, short on the 3. Parham can't get there in time. So what about you? You've hung around high school sports for a while. Would you like to see a 1 through 64? Do you like what we have with the sections?
Well, I have hung around it for a while, but I've always been in the city conference. And so the first year that I was over at Como, we actually made it to state. So the seating wasn't an issue for me at that time, but now seeing it as a whole, being able to see it as a whole, I think we are warranted for some changes.
Well, speaking of seeding, this is a crime. Tartan and North St. Paul, the boys, they're playing tonight in the quarterfinals, but they're in Section 4. Woodbury beat North St. Paul, even though they have a lower record. All the Suburban East coaches kind of ganged up to help each other out, and that left the Metro East teams in Section 4 out to dry a little bit. As you know, Section 4 made up of mostly Suburban East teams. Moynihan needed that 3 to go down for the Eagles to have a chance here, and time slowly winding down. We haven't had a bucket in a while, but Eastview's okay with that. Certainly one of the lowest scoring games I've called this year. And again, this isn't a stall ball situation. These two teams, it's strategy, but you've got the more experienced team winning out. And Eastview, where they have succeeded for all those years, including the year they won state in 2014, as Parham picks up her 4th, the fundamentals.
Right.
Cassidy Carson goes to the line. The year they won state, they had some close games. St. Paul Central in the quarterfinals gave them a run. That was Willie Taylor's last year. I should say Marta Wallen's first year, the last time Central got to state. They had enough talent to win, but Eastview beat them with the fundamentals. Free throws are one of them.
That's the year they had Sade Chapman there, right?
Yes. And then they beat, well, this is a sore spot for Abe. They came back from 12 down with 6 minutes to go to beat Kennedy in the 4A championship.
Just the fact that you remember that.
Well, because I was there. Abe and I were both there.
Okay.
Abe was not too happy about it. If you were Eastview fans, of course, loved it because it finally took off the bridesmaid status they had for years. How they got to state for so many years, never won a title. 2014, they finally removed that goose egg, and you'll never forget your first one. Even though none of those players on that team are here now, you'll always remember the first time you won state as a school.
Yeah.
And success breeds success. Look what Eastview has done since.
You know, in some of the schools, they have really great feeder programs, and when you have the girls at the top level making accomplishments like going to state and winning state, the other girls have something to reach for and attain for and say, hey, I want my class to do that.
It's a
I wanna
snowball
do it.
effect.
Yeah.
Myers will shoot two. It's a snowball effect. We talk about Hopkins and all the players they've brought in. They get a lot of folks from Minneapolis and surrounding suburbs because of what they bring.
Makes it easier for your coaching staff because the girls will buy into what you're saying because they've seen you take another group and produce great results.
Right. Well, look at St. Paul Central when Willie Taylor was there. They won 2 state titles. The super team.
And everyone wanted to go to Central.
Right.
And then you can say the same about what's happening now with the Como Park Cougars.
I'm curious to see what happens there.
Absolutely, yeah. I just wish they had feeder programs, younger girls that were playing, so that they can continue their grooming and fundamentals and their success.
I will say if Elena Jones hadn't left, maybe Como Park's future would have been a little brighter. They played well this year, but they just struggle against the stronger teams.
Yeah.
And so they're one of those schools, and you get this once in a while. Washburn, another example, where you have a couple of good years. You know, Washburn made it to the state semifinals in Chase Coley's last 2 years, but they couldn't sustain it. And, well, look at North even, as China Young scores. Timeout, Brian Doty, but Apple Valley's got to make up a 10-point deficit with 3:27 left.
I've seen it done.
It's possible, but, again, tough to conceive at this point.
What do you tell your team?
You got to play smart.
Yeah.
And you have to get some stops. At this stage, because there's no shot clock, you've got to find a way to force turnovers in Apple Valley.
And that's what I was going to say. Put the pressure on. Parham has 4 fouls, so she's got to be careful.
I should say force turnovers on Eastview.
She's one of their defensive specialists out there getting in that passing lane. But we haven't seen Apple Valley full court press at all.
If you're Apple Valley, you don't want any turnovers. But to continue the discussion, Minneapolis North, look what happened there. They were a model of success in the inner city. Threats to close the school sent everyone packing.
Right.
It sent Sade Chapman over to St. Paul Central, for example.
Right.
And it took them years to rebuild. And the boys are having success now with Larry McKenzie. The girls are trying to work their way up there. But this is why, no matter what class you're in, you see a lot of perennials. 3A seems to be the most unpredictable group. But in 4A, Eastview's going to be a contender. Lakeville North, Hopkins, Wyzetta, I'm sure they'll be looking for some vengeance after losing to South.
Yep.
But that's why you see, like St. Michael Albertville in Section 8, you see the same 4 or 5 schools get through every year. Success breeds success.
And so now with the substitutions on offense and defense, there's got to be good communication among the Apple Valley team so no one misses an assignment.
Apple Valley out of fouls to give. Eastview and Apple Valley neither have hit a field goal in a while, but when it comes to section finals, you don't have to be outstanding. You just have to be good enough, and Eastview has played good enough.
Yeah.
This may be one of their ugliest section final championships in history if they hang on, but all that matters is the W.
And now we're, Apple Valley's in the bonus.
Eastview's in the bonus.
I'm sorry, Eastview.
Can you tell we haven't covered Section 3 this year?
Eastview is in the bonus, so every foul now they'll go to the line. They need to just make sure that they capitalize off of those.
Eastview, they just need to get on cruise control and ride this out. Macy Guebert, by the way, up to 12 points. She scored 8 and 8 in the 2 regular season games this year. And that three-pointer, and there was more to it in the second half, but you have to imagine the three-pointer she hit to beat the first half buzzer played a big role in getting Eastview past their first half struggles.
Right. It's kind of that statement.
High low to Carpenter, goodbye. And if you're Eastview, I think you can start making another plan to go to state.
Yeah. Eastview's so comfortable in their offense. They know where they are on the floor.
And Alapade gives the Eastview faithful an encore. It will be 7 straight trips to the state tournament for the Eastview Lightning, the longest streak in Class 4A. Will it be enough to produce another title? We shall see. You know Hopkins, they're hungry.
Right.
They've finished second the last 2 years. China Young missed the three-pointer. And if you're Apple Valley, you know, well, you weren't here for it, but when you play in the section playoffs, it's always tough to lose because it's single elimination. One loss, you're done. Tonight's going to stink if you're Apple Valley, but what do you take from an effort like this? You played Eastview well for a half. You got to the section final, something you hadn't done in 14 years. What can that do for this program next year?
Oh, it just makes you hungry. You come back the next year, and you know this is the team that has the target on their back. We want to beat Eastview. So I don't take anything away from this young Apple Valley team. They're playing a very good, solid, disciplined team, and that's why Eastview's undefeated right now.
And they'll stay that way heading into the state tournament round. This result, not a surprise. Maybe the pathway there was. We certainly didn't expect a 14-11 first half. So if you're an Eastview fan, or if you're just a fan like we are, you know, this is a result you probably expected to see.
Right.
Eastview was the favorite going in. And once more, they got help with their closest competitor being knocked out in the semis, but that's the unpredictability of the playoffs. You never know when the next game you play could be your last.
Right, right, and that's why you leave it all on the court. This is what you work for all season.
So Macy Guebert will pad her numbers. And for the Lightning, I don't think anyone's going to be worried about them looking past anybody. Because no matter who's involved, as Eastview calls a timeout to get the starters out of there, presumably, no matter who's coaching this team, no matter who's starting, no matter who the faces are, Eastview finds a way to win. .129 left. The victory parade has begun. I hope that the Gangelhoff Center will get a chance to host a section final again.
This is an amazing facility. Yes, I agree.
And Section 3 historically, the host site for the semifinals and championship has been in St. Paul. It was at Hutton Arena at Hamlet for all those years, but not going to lie, I like the Gangelhoff Center just a little more.
And you know what? We got some new teams showing their face and showing what they're made of and making it to these section finals. So let's get some new facilities for them to play in, too.
Molly Moynihan scores. Well, this is a fine facility. Eastview calls a timeout.
I don't know. I don't have any words for that strategy unless we're subbing.
That's probably what it is. You're up by 16. So
But she's not going to sub. You can see that
Okay.
the players that are sitting down are the players that are going to go back in.
Interesting. I mean, it's a who would call a timeout with a minute left when you're going to win? You've got the win locked up.
Well, she could be practicing something for her girls, so there could be something that she's been
That's
working
true,
on.
for
this is out under
whoever
a
they
minute
face.
play.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you never know, whoever they face in the quarterfinals, it's a coach's vote.
Because she has her clipboard out, so she's obviously drawing something up. So sometimes you just want to flex your range.
Right.
What can I get my kids to do
And maybe you
tonight?
didn't like what you saw in that last possession.
Absolutely.
So gauging the field, I would think Eastview would face the winner of Section 7, Section 5, or Section 2. I can't say which team yet because those victors haven't been decided, but I'm guessing with 6, 7, 8 being a random draw, the winners of 2, 5, and 7 are going to be the unseeded teams. 5 because you have a 3 and a 4 seed. Again, no knock in Roosevelt Park Center, but
Right.
that's just how it goes. 2, not a strong section this year. 7, not a strong section. So that's going to be one of those teams. So it's either going to be the winner of Anoka Forest Lake, the winner of Minnetonka Prior Lake, or the winner of Roseville Park Center. I know that's a lot of guessing involved.
But at least you have that mindset to be able to put all of that together.
I've done this a few times. Eastview, another transition play, more free throws coming. And if you're curious, Eastview dismantled Prior Lake in the regular season series. They took care of Minnetonka, and that was with Megan Walker, their top player. They did not play anyone in Section 7. So Eastview should get out of the quarterfinals, but there are no guarantees in the playoffs. So in what will end up being the lowest scoring game of this series, Brynne Rolland works her way inside, but Eastview, an outstanding job shutting her down in the lane.
They did.
Keeping her to the outside, and she couldn't get it going from there. Rolland will have a great career ahead of her at St. Thomas, but Eastview will play on to another state tournament, and they're going to go back to Target Center where they belong. A lot of folks enjoyed Williams, but I think a lot of these girls are going to love the chance to play for a championship at the same facility where the Minnesota Lynx have won so many of them.
You're
Well, I guess
absolutely
Williams
right.
Arena is now a site where they won too.
And it's,
Wherever the Lynx go, they win.
it's a new facility over at the Target
Right,
Center,
renovated
too.
facility. I don't think that will affect the players all that much.
Well, I think a lot of these young ladies, they're at the game, so
Oh yes, they hang around. So congratulations are in order to the Eastview Lightning. Apple Valley will have to try again next year, a valiant effort to get this far. But Eastview was too experienced, too talented, and they move on to the state tournament with a 40-25 win. Their 7th straight state tournament appearance. That three-pointer by Macy Guebert could have been the catalyst for that second half
trend.
surge.
Yep, it started the trend.
And Megan Walstad picked things up. And when you look at this Eastview team as a whole, they are balanced. There isn't one superstar. They have a bunch of them, and that is why they are so competitive every single year.
Yep. And it looks like that they all push each other, hold each other accountable. You could see that great communication on the floor with each other. And like you said at the beginning of the game, the coach said there's not just one great player on this team. It's a balance. It's absolutely a balance. They did a great job tonight.
So we are waiting for the award ceremony to take place. When that starts, we'll bring you to the floor and have that ceremony for you. And we're going to have that now in a minute. But your thoughts on this game? It was a routine win for Eastview that was anything but when you look at that first half.
Right, the first half we really couldn't tell until those final seconds when that three-pointer was hit by Eastview to get their team going. So, but the second half it was all Eastview.
Section 3 4A championship game will be presented by Cat Percival, assistant principal from Eastview High School, and by Virgil Jones, assistant principal from Apple Valley High School. Each of the team members and managers and coaches will be receiving a medal, and a trophy will be presented to each team. And now we'll present the second place medal awards to the team from Apple Valley. Athletes, please step forward when your name is called to accept your medals. Number 3, Gemini Blue. Number 5, Molly Moynihan. Number 10, Josie Hotblue. Number 11, Hannah Coker. Number 20, China Young. Number 21, Madison Reed. Number 23, Anna Welch. Number 24, Isabella Jensen. Number 25, Megan Walstad. Number 30, Mariah McClendon. Number 32, Kalia Myers. Number 34, Kathleen Murray. Number 35, Josie Rogers. Number 40, Michael Parham. Number 41, Emily Antle.
That's amazing.
Number 44, Bailey Bertram. Number 52, Mallory Nelson. And finally, number 54, Brynne Rolland. The head coach, Brian Downey. He is assisted by Paul Olsen, Maribel Ariano, and Seth Nelson. Apple Valley, will you come forward and get your second place trophy? Congratulations on a great season. Fans, it's now time to present the championship medals to the Section 3 4A champions from Eastview. After the please step forward when your name is called to accept your medal. Number 4, Emma Carpenter. Number 5, Lindsay Wilson. Number 10, Mikhail Bryant. Number 11, Isabella Tatum. Number 13, Annalisa Crenshaw. Number 15, Sierra Herbert. Number 20, Aaliyah Glenn. Number 21, Macy Guebert. Number 22, Wine Glass. Number 23, Mariah Alabante. Number 24, Lauren Carlson. Number 25, Cassidy Carson. Number 31, Andrea Abrams. Number 32, Brynne Rolland. Number 33, Azariah Raspberry. Number 34, Jordan Morris. Number 42, Courtney Carson. And number 45, Megan Walstad. The head coach of Eastview, Guebert, assisted by Brooke Sears, Carlos G, Ellen Spiga, Reese Apple. The managers Michael Sheridan, Brynne Rolland, 5 times, Allie Sullivan and Jack Rowley. Lighting, step forward and get your championship trophy.
And I'm joined by Macy Guebert of the Eastview Lightning. Macy, your older sibling has had a lot of state tournament experience, and I guess you're catching up to her.
Yes, I've always loved watching my sister and my mom have such success at the section and state level, so getting to do it myself is so surreal.
Not to mention you've got some superheroes supporting you there. We got Captain America and a few bolts of lightning, no pun intended.
Right. Yeah, my junior class has been so supportive of me ever since I was a freshman. They come to every game that they can, and they're so supportive, and I appreciate them so much.
What is it like facing a conference rival for the third time with a state tournament berth on the line?
Yeah, it's always difficult to beat a team 3 times. Apple Valley is a great team, and we knew that they would give us a good challenge, and it was fun.
They did give you that challenge in the first half. It was 14-11. Their defense was giving you fits. So how did you adjust to run away in the second half?
Yeah, at halftime we just talked about really being precise on offense and running our plays and our sets so that we could look for the openings.
And it helped that you hit a buzzer beater three-pointer to end the first half, so you had a few seconds left. What was your mindset going in, and how do you think that energized the Eastview team heading into the second half?
You know, I think with buzzer beaters, it's kind of just an instinct, and you don't really think about it, and I think that really helped us going into halftime, and it was really the push that we needed to start the second half out strong.
7 straight state tournament appearances, the longest streak in Class 4A. What does that mean to you?
It feels so great, and I'm just so happy that I get to represent Eastview and my team.
You'll likely be the 1 seed, of course, at this stage. Ranking seedings go out the window. But what is the attitude this year? What do you think Eastview has to do to pick up another state title, something they haven't done since 2014?
Yeah, just really focusing on us and not paying attention to what everyone else is saying and, you know, going in strong and knowing that we can do it.
Sorry I brought that up.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah.
And from the looks of it, you guys have been to state a bunch. You've won a lot of section titles, but I see that doesn't dampen the spirit when that clock hits 0 and you get to cheer on the floor.
Yeah, it never gets old. That feeling never gets old.
You want to say hi to anybody?
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Who's right behind us? Who's right behind us? The Guebert family, a long lineage here at Eastview, and you'll get a chance to add to it whatever happens. Congrats on being the first team to get to the state tournament this year, so you have that little piece of bragging rights, and we'll see if it culminates in a championship next week.
All right, thank you so much.
That was Macy Guebert of the Eastview Lightning. And I'm joined by Megan Walstad. Megan, 2 points in the first half. It looked like Apple Valley had shut you down. You finished with 10. How did you work your way open in the second half?
You know, I just had a lot of trust in my teammates. A few post-ups down low. I knew they were going to get me the ball, and, you know, if I didn't have looks, they knew I was going to kick it out. We just have that trust with each other, and, you know, we know someone's going to step up at all times, and I think we worked really well in the second half.
What would you make of this team's balance? 7 straight state tournament appearances, and it doesn't matter who steps up. Eastview finds a way to win, as they've done all year, undefeated at 29-0.
Right, yeah. I think we just have such great strength throughout like the whole program, and we just have a good balance, and we all trust each other, and that's the most important part. We all have fun on the court, and it's just great to play with all these girls.
How big was Macy Guebert's three-pointer to end the first half?
It was really great. I think it gave us a lot of momentum going into the second half. You know, we weren't hitting as many shots as we would have liked to in the first half, so just having that momentum going into the second half helped, you know, just get our confidence back.
What is the challenge of facing a conference rival for the third time with a state tournament berth on the line?
You know, it's a rivalry game. It's always kind of tough, goes back and forth, but I think we played a great game. I think we played strong. We never let up, and I think that's the most important thing.
What does it mean for you to be part of a program that has the longest streak of state tournament appearances in Class 4A?
You know, it means a lot. It's great coming from this strong program, and it's just so much fun. That's all I can say is that I have so much fun on the court with these girls, and it's just such a great experience.
And another state tournament trip. I know it's been an annual ritual for you at Eastview, but when I look at the celebration, it never gets old. What makes a section title, a state tournament trip, what makes it so special year after year? It might get boring to some folks, but never to you guys.
It never gets boring. I mean, just playing, like I said, with these girls is just so great. I think this is such a special team. We're all really selfless players. We play together, and, you know, you never know who's going to step up in what game. So I think that just makes it really special coming to this great end here. I mean, going into the state tournament, I think was great.
It's been 4 years since Eastview last hosted the championship trophy in the Class 4A state tournament. Of course, you've got to get to the quarters and semis, so you're not going to look past anybody. But what do you think it will take to get Eastview on top? I know they've been on the cusp, as they usually are, but I'm sure you'd like to change that narrative this year.
Yeah, I think we just have to play our game. We got to play like we've been playing all year. We can't worry about what the other team's doing. We just got to stay composed and have trust within each other, and I think we'll do great.
Well, you sound like a well-spoken veteran with those words. I think you would fit well on the Lynx. You've got a few years before you have to worry about that, though. You want to say hi to anybody?
I would like to say hi to my mom and dad. They support me in everything, and I love them.
Well, hi, Mom and Dad. Congratulations, Megan, and we'll see if you do host a state tournament trophy. But enjoy tonight, enjoy this weekend, and get ready for a Target Center trip.
Thank you so much.
That was Megan Walstad of the Eastview Lightning. That wraps up our coverage here from Concordia University in St. Paul. For our entire crew, I'm Mike Peden. Thank you for watching.